You will now be placed into conference. To mute your line, press *6.
Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining today. My name is Sandra Smith, and I'm the Sage Intelligence Product Specialist. And today, we're going to talk about how you can master the fundamentals of Sage Intelligence. So before we get started with that, just want to let everyone know that today's webcast is being recorded. So you will be able to receive the link to the recording through email, and you'll receive that probably in the next day or so. So everyone's muted, but if you have any questions, please feel free to enter them into the webcast Q&A control panel. There's also a chat pane, so there's two ways you could do that, actually through WebEx, or you can email me. Feel free to email me any questions you have to sandra.smith@sage.com. I'll be more than happy to answer any questions that you have. So today's webcast is actually on 100 specifically. Now, if there is anyone who's on 300 Cloud or 500 Cloud, and that's Cloud Connect, right? It's the new name for our the same product 100. But if there's anybody online that is on for 300 or 500, don't worry. This is specific to 100. However, Sage Intelligence works much the same way. Slight differences. If you have any questions, again, please feel free to email me. But we're going to talk about intelligence reporting, lots of good information for you and some slides, and then I'm going to show you a demonstration. And then very helpful learning resources from our website will be at the very end, so stay tuned. So let's take a step back and just say, what is Sage Intelligence? Now, Sage Intelligence is an Excel-based reporting tool. So simple enough, right? All of your financial reports, a few of the other non-financials are available, but they're run out, all of the reports are run out into Microsoft Excel. And that means that you can use your existing Excel skills, your existing Excel experience to make any changes to the reports and to understand, make your way around the report. So very helpful for those of you who are used to using Microsoft Excel. If you're not, no worries. It's very, very simple, and we have some training available for you. Now, we have ready-to-use reports and existing layouts, and I'm going to show you in our demonstration how you simply run the report. And again, they all open up into Microsoft Excel. You can see here, right? And you can take a look at your information. Again, use Excel to make any changes. But you can design your own report. So you can make changes to your reports, but you can also design your financial reports. And that's using the Financial Report Designer that I'll go into more detail with. But you can design them down to the cell level. I mean, anything you need for your financial reports, you can design using Sage Intelligence. Now, you can also create reports, new reports from other sources. Now, let's talk a little bit about that. What does that mean? Other sources means a couple things. Number one, if the reports you see for Sage Intelligence when you run Report Manager, if you think of some additional fields or even additional reports you want to create from other modules within Sage 100, you can do that. So you can create new reports from other modules. Now, you can also, though, create new reports from other sources like other Sage solutions or maybe some other vendor solutions, maybe Sage CRM, Sage Fixed Assets. Maybe you want to use alerts and workflows. You can do that. You can make a connection to any of these other software solutions, these other sources, and you can create reports from them. Now, I'm going to take that another step further. If you have software that is completely outside of Sage and it's something completely different, maybe it's even information in an Excel database, you can make a connection to any of those software databases and you can create reports from those. So that truly gives you that powerful business intelligence capability of seeing your data across your business in one report. Now, we also allow for collaboration. So this means that you can distribute your reports to other people within your company as well as people outside of your company. So you can share your reports via email if you want to post it to a website. You can save it in HTML format. You can send it as an Excel file, a PDF. You can save it to a server somewhere, even to you know, an online storage facility. You can do that. So all kinds of ways to collaborate to share your information across your business. All right, now I'm going to go into the different Sage Intelligence components. And some of them most of them you'll use, some of them you might not. It just depends on your particular business, but all very important to know. Now this, the first one, is the Report Manager. And that is the interface that you'll use to run all of your reports out. You'll customize them if you choose to. In other words, you can make changes to the report. You will manage all of the properties. That means, like, if you want to add a filter, or if you want to add a parameter, or if you don't want certain people to see it, those kinds of things you can manage using Report Manager. And that's where your report writer sits. So that's just the person, I would say, who manages all the reports. Person or persons, okay? Now it's a per user license. And the good news is there's one license free with Sage 100. So that means that you have one person that can run all of the reports out with that free license available. You just need to activate it, all right? And that's something that you can have your partner do, so your Sage reseller, whoever you bought your system from, whoever supports your 100 system, you can contact them and have that activated. Okay, so it's a per user license and there's one free, so great news. So the report viewer, that is an additional module, and that enables the user to view your reports. You can run them all out, all right? So you can run reports from Report Manager and from Report Viewer. The difference is that the person that runs Report Viewer can't make any changes or save any of the changes back to Report Manager, okay? They can only run the report. But the good news is they can drill down. That means that if they drill down into transactional information, they can see all of that supporting data. So think of your financial accounts, your financial information in your financial reports. If you own the Report Viewer, you can drill down into that transaction level. Now, all of the reports can be distributed, right? I talked about that. They're all just can be sent to other people or sent to a file, but when they're sent, you can't drill down. So that gives you a little bit more of that control and security over your data. Now, think of the Report Viewer user as those people who need to drill down, right? And those people that just want to run the report on their own rather than receiving an email or going to a file to open that report. Report Viewer gives them a little bit more freedom to be able to run the report themselves and drill down, and that's a per user license as well. Report Designer allows you to create customized financial reports, but you could also use our predefined layouts. We have quite a few Report Designer templates as well as layouts. And by layouts, I mean different views of your income statement. If you wanted a general income statement or income statement where you're looking at a prior view and then maybe the variance between the current and the prior. Those are our different layouts. So you can use our predefined reports or you can customize your own. Now know that that's available to all Report Manager or Viewer users, okay? It's a site license. So if you want to use your financials, design your financials, that would require the Report Designer, all right? But that is, but ask your partner because you might be on one of the specific customer support levels to include that. So ask your partner first if you have that. If not, contact your partner for it, for the Report Designer. Okay, moving on. The connector, it's a little bit more advanced, but the connector is there if you own multiple companies and you want to look at multiple company side-by-side comparisons for your financials, the consolidations. You'll need the connector there. But it also allows you to connect to additional ODBC compliant databases. What does that mean? Well, remember I said that you can view information from other sources. This is the model that you'll need for that functionality. That means that the connector allows you to connect to other data sources and other tables within 100. So if you want to connect to additional, maybe you've added the project module and you want to create reports from your project module information, you can make a connection to that table within 100. Or maybe you have added Sage fixed assets and you want to make a connection to that. You can, and you can report on that. It may be Alltech is one of our ISVs, and if you want to connect with their data source, you can. All of our ISVs, you can make connections to them and create reports from them. That's where the connector comes in. Again, it's a little bit more advanced tool. Mostly our partners are okay, so our resellers use it, but those with technical skills can, and they can get some training from either Sage or from partners. So check with your partner on that. And then finally, the License and Security Manager modules are very self-explanatory, but they do track available license. That's our License Manager. Security Manager, though, allows for additional users to be added or removed as, people are changing roles, but it also enables you to choose which report users have access to. That's the Security Manager. All right, let's take a look now at the standard reports that come with your free Report Manager license. So from Report Manager, also the viewer will also have access to these reports. The dashboard report you see there, a picture of it, is in the slide. Financial Trend Analysis report. We've got a GL Transaction Detail report. There's an inventory report as well, for those of you who carry inventory. We have a vendor purchase report, customer sales report, and then, of course, a financial report designer. We have standard reports there, but again, that requires the report designer module to run those reports out. And again, those are the financial reports. Now, with all reports, you can customize them using Microsoft Excel if you choose to. So the top picture here, you can see this is a report designer report, and you can see here is our add-in. So this is our financial report designer add-in. I'm going to demonstrate this, but this is where you can make changes to the look or the layout of your financial report here. Now at the bottom, this is a picture of our inventory status report. Now, just like all of the other reports, our purchase report, our sales report, our GL transaction, etc., all of those reports are created as a pivot table. So you can see that there's the pivot table field list where you can make changes to the view of the information that you see. So all of the reports can be changed using Microsoft Excel. And remember, again, if you make any changes here, like maybe you change the view, the column headings for your inventory status, you can save the report as you changed it. You can save it to Report Manager so that the next time you run it out, you can see those changes. Okay, so you have your Financial Report Designer task pane, and then, of course, that pivot table field list, both options where you can make changes to the reports. Now, within the Financial Report Designer, know that you can drill down to supporting data. So you can see here in this picture, I've landed on a value. Okay, so you can see a specific value here, your actual year-to-date current period for a product. Say, for example, if I right-click, go to the very bottom, I can select Drill Down. It opens up a new sheet within the same workbook that allows you to see much more information. So all the transactional information for all of the accounts that are available. So you can drill down to supporting information there. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look. Let me get the image. There we go, opened up. Okay, so here we were in Sage 100 in the Report Manager. Now, what you'll see here are all of the folders on the left-hand side. So you see that we have our dashboard, financials, inventory. There's a few others. We also have available, which I'm going to talk about a little bit later, but this is a new folder that's been added from the report utility. So these are all reports that you can download from our report utility on our website, and they're pushed into this new reports folder that's created automatically for you, and you can open up and you can run any of our report utility reports, and I'll give you some details about that a little bit later. But here you can easily add a folder if you'd like, simply by clicking on the Home tab, select Add a Folder. You can move this around. You can name it. I've already got my reports, so I'll say other reports, whatever you want to name it. Once you do that, then you have your folder. You can move any of the reports that you want into them. You can, any of the ones that you copied, that is, you can create reports from this folder. You can add anything that you'd like to it now. Okay, so I want to, though, show you how to run reports. So I'm going to go ahead and click on my Financials folder. You see here my Financial Report Designer, which we'll go through in just a minute. We have our Trend Analysis. Here's a GL Transaction Report. And just to demonstrate how to run it, you can simply highlight the report, select the Run button, and this report actually has parameters, which I'm going to go ahead and give it a range, a year range that I want to see the information between those time periods. And now it's running. So it's pulling all the data from my 100 system and it's pushing it into Microsoft Excel, where if I hover over, there's the icon for Excel. I'll click on it. Let me make it a little bit bigger so you can see it. And now I had to change the resolution, so here we go. This is the home page. Okay, so you can see I'm on the Home tab. So this is just a tab to help you further on getting started. You can navigate to our website from these buttons, how-to videos, webcasts, tips and tricks. So just know that this is here to help you further if you'd like. Just a really quick button to get you to our website, but you can hide or delete this. Here, if I click on this GL Transactions tab, is the report. So now you can see my GL Transactions report for my company, and this is the time or the date frame from the parameters that I chose. And you can see all of my data here. All right, I can scroll to the bottom. But what I want to show you as well is I can click into it. And notice when I click into my pivot table, remember this is a pivot table, I not only see information when I hover over you know, a particular value, you can see there's that amount coming up. But you can also see up here in the menu, my pivot table tools list, where I have my Analyze button, and I can click on that and I can show my field list. So notice it's not highlighted, so it's not showing, but if I click on that, and I can also make it a little smaller. Let me make it smaller. There we go. Now I have my pivot table tools list. Excuse me, my pivot table field list. My pivot table field list allows me to check off any additional columns that I'd like, or I could use them as, view them as rows that I'd like to see. So we have all kinds of options here. So let's say, for example, I want to see my posting date. I simply click on it, and there's all of my debit and credit amounts by posting date. So it's just as easy as that. I can unselect it. I can click on batch number and, you know, view the batch number if I choose to. So it's different options. And I'm just showing you this as our GL transaction report, but there's also additional reports that use pivot tables you can do the exact same thing with. Now, if I wanted to save this view, I couldn't, just because I didn't make a copy of this. This is not a copy of my report. It's the actual report. So I wanted to show you could run it out. But if I close it, if I exit out of it, and I want to make any changes, I need to copy it. So I'm going to highlight this report again, and here's the instructions on how to copy. Very, very easy. I'm going to select the copy button. I'll just click on it. Or an option is to right-click, select copy, okay? And then I'm going to find my, here's my other reports folder, my brand new report folder, and you can add this anywhere. And I can right-click and paste or select the paste button, either way, and there's the copy. Now, I do want to make sure you know that I'd make rename this. Come up with a name and rename it because you don't want copy of there. You want to make sure that it is conducive to what the report really is doing, okay, so people understand what they're running. But notice all of the properties here open up. You can see the columns tab, any filters. We don't have filters, but remember, we do have a parameter that we created, which you can remove or you can change. You can add a filter, lots of different options where you can further manage this report, hence using Report Manager. Okay, now I'm going to run this one out. Okay, so it's the same thing. I'm running the report out. Again, I have to put in the time frame I'd like to see it, the data. I select OK. I'll just direct you to the bottom left-hand corner. You'll see it running. Give this a chance to finish, okay, before you know, you click on the report, because this is pulling all of the data and pushing it into Excel. Okay, so now I'm going to open it up, and this is just not showing me my. There we go. For some reason, it wasn't showing me my tray, but here it is in the tray. So I'm going to click on my report and maximize it, and there it is again. I'm just going to kind of fit it into the screen. So there you can see again the home tab, and here's my report. Again, same report. I'm going to click into it, select the Analyze tab, and I'm going to show my field list, because if I make any changes, I just need to go into my field list, and let's see, I wanted to see my posting date, right? So let's say I add my posting date, and I can do anything else. If I want to add my logo, if I want to add a chart, maybe I want to add a graph to this and put a chart in here to show me some variations, I can. But let's say I'm good with the changes. I can either leave my pivot table field list open or I can close it. I'm going to go ahead and close it. Now, if I want to make any changes to the report, I need to go back to Report Manager. So I'm showing you the big R in the tray. Click on Report Manager, highlight the report, which is right here, copy of my GL transaction report. I'm going to click on Save Excel Template. Always leave the report open in Excel if you want to save it. So I'm going to highlight the report, and this message just says, okay, you didn't do anything to the second worksheet, right? And I didn't. I left that alone. So always leave that second worksheet alone. Remember the tabs in the bottom. So I'll say, yes, I left that alone. I'm going to leave it as this name, select OK. This just says you already had a copy, but do you want to replace it? Yes, I do. I don't need to save the exact same thing that I just made a copy of. So now this message says your template was created successfully and linked to the report, which means that I can now run it again. And when I run it again, of course, it's going to ask me those parameters unless I changed them, and I didn't. So I'll select OK, and it will show me the changed report. Now, just so that you know, remember I explained the connector and how you can add, oh, sorry, I didn't close my old one. That's why this does this. You must always see that extra little Excel there. You must always close those. So if you ever encounter that error, just remember to always close your Excel, your extra Excel. Sorry about that. Let me close them. Close them real quick. And there they go. I'm going to run it out again because I didn't check to see if they were in here. Always make sure that Excel, once you save it, all of the little Excel things that are left behind are closed. So I've closed them. Now I'm going to go back and rerun it, and it's going to have all the changes that I needed to make or that I made earlier and when I run it out. But getting back to the connector, if you want to add any fields to any of these reports, you can using the connector. Now, again, that's something that you're going to want to talk to your partner about, but using that connector module, if you want to add any of the reports that you need, you can. And so here's all of the changes to my report. You can see my posting dates, so you can see that it opened up exactly as I had changed it. All right, and it even keeps it right where your cursor last lies. But if you want to make any changes to the fields that you have in here, if you want to add any of these fields, know that using that connector and using your partner's experience, your partner can help you add any fields to this pivot table field list to the report. You just have to, make sure it's something that, it's one of the tables that relate and that it's information that you can bring into this report, and it's something that you can add using the connector module. So know that this isn't all that the report can do. There's just so much more. Any of the reports, if there's any reports that you want to add information to, or again, if you want to create a report with different fields within your 100 system or even outside of your 100 system, you can use the connector to do that. Very important to know long term now. Okay, so now, since that is the copy that I had saved, I'm going to go ahead and close that report. And now we're going to focus on the Financial Report Designer, this one right here. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to run that report out. Just highlight the report, select the Run button. And in this case, we don't have any parameters or filters, but again, you can add them. So the person that's using Report Manager will add any of the filters or the parameters to this report. We have training for that. We also have some videos that will help you understand how to do that, but I would check with your partner first because your partner will be able to help you if you want to add any parameters or filters to the Financial Report Designer. All right, so again, this is gathering all of the data, pushing it into Microsoft Excel. Let me minimize that so for some reason, and there we are. Okay, so I've opened it. I'm just going to rearrange it so that you can view again that same home screen, which you can always hide it or you can keep it because this is where you can access those how-to videos, those webcasts, our tips and tricks. We also have an instruction tab. So the instruction tab allows you just to understand how to use the Report Designer. They're very quick instructions, but know that we also have longer webcasts and videos to show you how to use the Financial Report Designer. All right? But let's go ahead and go through it. You notice that, I closed this a little bit or made it a little bit smaller, but this is our task pane where you can see we have our layouts, we have our lists. So our layouts, if we just want to generate a layout right away, if we want to create one, we have our lists and our formulas. We have trees that you can build very easily to see your segmented values. We have tools for missing accounts. I'm going to start with the Layouts tab. Let me make this a little bit smaller again. And I'm going to go ahead and just open it. Income statement, actual versus budget with variance. So it's one of the layouts we've built for you. All you need to do is click on it, open it. It will run out with all of your specific data. And there it just says it was generated successfully. And make this a little bit smaller so we can see some values. And there's some values. I'm going to go ahead and zoom out so we can see some more information. And there we have our 2019 for our period. We've got our actual year-to-date current period. And there's just parts of it where I don't have any data, but you can see all of the data from the layout. Your information will be added there. If I want to change years, I can. So notice I have the parameters here that allows me to see from year to year. So again, you don't have to have tab after tab after tab, one tab for 1 year, another tab for another year. You can simply change which year you want to see. We've already grouped them, so if I click on this plus sign, you can see all of the detail, all right, for my my sales, my revenue here. So I can continue to scroll down and open up all of these plus signs, or I can just select the 2, and it opens up all of my detail behind my revenue, my cost of goods, etc. And if you want to make any changes to this particular template, you can use either the layout generator, which is accessed via this BI Tools tab. So I'll quickly click on that. In the BI Tools tab, this is where you'll manage your layout generator layouts. So you can go ahead and go into the quick edit. I'll just show you this particular one. This is the income statement, actual versus budget. You can open up the layout generator and make any changes. So you see this. These are all the columns that are within the report. Okay, so there's your actual budget, etc. You have all of your rows down the left-hand side, and any changes you want to make, you can do so using your columns tab. So you see all the ones that are highlighted there. You can, the ones that are not highlighted, you can add if you choose to. You can remove any of them. Here's your rows. And then also your row sets. So you can have additional row sets depending on the category, depending on the range of rows, etc. Lots of options to easily point and click and make changes to your design. All right, the layout generator. Again, we have all kinds of videos on how to do this. Okay, I'm not going to save any changes. Now, there's one more option that you can either change any of your layouts, or let's look at the option to create from scratch. And that'll just give you all kinds of ideas. Once you see how to create a report from scratch, it'll give you all kinds of ideas on what you can do with your financials. So I'm going to get the plus sign, a new sheet here. Okay, so here I have a brand new sheet. I'm going to open the task pane up a little bit so that we can see some of the options to use. Now, I'm going to click on this ellipsis because I'm going to just grab my, let's see, I have my lists, but what I first want to start with are my formulas. So here's my formulas, and I'm starting here because I want to use my current year and current period as filters, all right, or you can call them parameters, let's say. Because what I want to do is I want to create a report that always opens up with my current year and current period values. So the report always opens up, current year, current period, but I can change it if I choose to. Okay, so those are now dragged into my sheet. The next thing I want to do is go to my lists. Okay, so now I can create a report using my categories, my groups. I have all kinds of options, but I'm going to use my main account. So I'm going to drag those over and drop them in. So now you can see the main account number. Okay, so there's my account code. I have the description, the account class, the account category, the account group. I have all of these options by which I can sort my report. So those of you who are familiar with Excel, you know it's very easy. There's multiple ways you can sort a long list. Because again, this is my long list of all my accounts, okay, but you can sort them. Now, there's a few columns. I'm not going to sort, so I'm going to get rid of some of these columns here just by highlighting them and deleting them. Because what I want to do is I want to just simply create an income statement using my actual formula. So that's what I'm going to do next. I need my actual formula. So I'm going to come over here to the Formulas tab. All right, here's my actual formula. Notice you can use any of the opening, closing balances, year-to-date, your budgets even. I'm just going to drag my actual formula over. And now you can see the formula starting up here, but it needs some information. And just like any Excel formula, if you need a little help on putting it together, which you will to start, click on the FX button. and that opens up the function argument window. Okay, so we have the function argument window, but always come to this. I'm down here in the bottom corner of the window. Click on this help on this function if you need additional help, because it'll definitely help you with understanding how to create this formula. All right, so what I'm going to do is the GeoLink is the account number. So I simply highlight the GeoLink. I absolute reference it to, three times you press F4, highlights that particular column. Okay, so you have the account number column highlighted. Then you want to go to your year, highlight the cell in which you drag that year formula over so that every time you open up the report, it's referenced to the cell number, the cell B1. It's always going to use that year. I'm going to do the same thing with the period. There we go. And now I can scroll down, so there are more fields in which you can use your category code, your group code, but we're also going to use the reporting tree path. So I'm going to click into that field, and I'm going to put it right here, let's say, so I can drag my reporting tree into it, and it'll show the value according to that segment. All right, so I have everything I need. I'm going to select OK. And I think I'm going to switch this to 2019, and I can go ahead and I can hover over this little dot, click on it. I get the plus sign, which means the fill button. Double click, and there it fills in all of the formulas. So now I have all of the values I need for my report. Okay, simple as that. So I just hooked up the formula. Let me open this up a little bit so you can see it. And it gives me all the values that I need. Now, if I click into it again, you'll see these are all of the fields that I'm using in my formula. Okay. And if it's an income statement, all I do is remove my balance sheet account. So I'll just highlight these, and I'll delete them. You can also, you can remove them. You can put them on another sheet. You can do whatever you need to with those, but I've removed them. And then if you want to further format, and of course you're going to want to format this a little bit more, right? You're going to want to, first of all, let's add a row here. And since this is the 40,000 is the beginning of a range that I want to create for my revenue, I'm going to say 40,000 space, TO space, and my ending revenue account is 45,000. So now I have my range, and all I need to do is copy up the cell, and there's my value. Now these have negative numbers. They come in as credits, so I simply need to add a minus sign, or at the end I multiply times -1. It's your choice, whatever you choose to do. So just add that to the beginning. There it is again, the beginning of the formula. Copy it down for your revenue. And then you can further format any way you wish. So if I need to do my cost of sales, that is 50,000 to 57.5. So I just need to type that in. Same thing. 50,000 space to 57.5 and copy it up. So those are your totals, right? So now I have my COGS, and you can, name it the way you wish at this point. If I want to call this sales, I can. If I want to call it revenue, whatever. And then further out, you can add your Excel formulas. So you can have your net profit, your gross profit formula, your net profit formula. Continue to create your layout. Again, we have all kinds of videos to show you how to do this, but these are the fundamentals. If I want to change my period, I can. So I've changed my period, and I see my values accordingly. Remember, I use this cell within that formula, right? I used it as the reporting tree. So let's look at how to do that. If I go over to the reporting tree, I can open up one of my many reporting trees. Here's one, and if I just want to drag one region in, for example, I can, and it changes all my values. You can see where it's changing all of them. I think that's my ABC. I need ABX, so let's get the right company. So that was ABC. So notice you can have different trees per different company, and if this reports for one particular company, I'll use my ABX. There it is. I use my ABX tree to drag over the values. Again, you don't have to have sheet after sheet after sheet, one per city. You can just have one sheet, drag over each city that the user using, say, viewer, runs out the report. They just drag over the city they want to see, and they can see the actual values. Okay, and that's, you can, again, further refine the view or the layout of your report. We have all kinds of different templates that you can use that's already created, so you don't have to start from scratch. But there's a lot of people out there that are very proficient with Excel and can easily create the report that they would like using the task pane and using Microsoft Excel. Very easy. All right, and then finally, if you want to distribute, I'm just going to show you under BI Tools, the Manage Instructions window that opens up. I have a few instructions that I've created. You can create as many as you want. Just so that you can see some of these, I'm going to select this Edit button on my Financials one that I created. And know that you can create an email, you can publish to a file, or FTP site. So whichever one you want to use, you know, you can easily send it to a file or an email, and you can further distribute. So you just set those up. You can either send the email, for example, right away, or you can create it so that the email is sent automatically or distributed automatically, or you could set it up so that your report is sent to a file automatically or sent FTP automatically. So you can set it up so that your reports are distributed automatically. Very easy to do. And then finally, I'm going to open up our Sage Intelligence website, sageintelligence.com. Okay, you can go to our Learning tab, open our Learning portal. You can see we also have training. So we have training on Sage Intelligence as well as Microsoft Excel. So if you go to our Learning portal, there you want to click on 100. And I'm going to point out that we have 3 levels: beginner, intermediate, and advanced. I highly recommend you go into them. You can download guides to our Report Designer user guide. You can go to any of our videos. There's, again, getting started with fundamentals, mastering them, and we also have a Sally series. So all kinds of videos and additional information to help you get started with Sage Intelligence. Okay, back to the presentation, because there's a couple more things I'd like you to remember, and that is the report utility. I mentioned it earlier. There's additional free reports there. You can find them on our website under Resources, Additional Reports. Look at them. There's a couple pictures there of them, but we've done a lot of dashboards. There's cash flow accounts, ratio reports, sales indicators, all kinds of reports that are ready for you to download very, very easily using our report utility. And then again, sageintelligence.com, go to our learning resources where you can click on your specific, your Sage 100 system and get more information. So if you want more information on Sage Intelligence, again, go to sageintelligence.com or our learning portal. My email is sandra.smith@sage.com. And please follow me on Twitter, @smith it's actually @smith@sage. So follow me on Twitter, and I'd be happy to answer any questions that you have if you want to email me. And I will hang on the line for additional questions during this webcast. Thank you very much.